The battle raged on around them. Iryne took out many of the undead. The black clouds flowed into the ground. When the last of the undead fell to the ground, it began to crack open. A monstrous wolf formed from the black smoke. Iryne fired arrow after arrow from the Yggdrasil Bow, all of which the wolf dodged effortlessly. Yeah. Effortlessly. Nice try. But I learned a lot from our last encounter, little Amazon. That bow will do you no good now. The wolf jumped from group to group, swiping at the dwarven army. Dwarves were thrown high into the air, all of which came down and smashed into the ground. The dwarven bodies turned into dust as they hit. Don't worry about those. They'll be back. Now what can we do about that? Here the dwarf holding the axe pointing towards the wolf. If we can hold it down, I can bring it down with the Yggdrasil Bow, Iryne said as she ran to the dwarf's side. The dwarf turned to her. Leave that to me, missy. Here he raised the golden axe above his head, brought it down, burying it deep into the ground. The wolf's paw fell into the fissure that opened beneath it. Now, Missy, do it if you can. Iryne pulled back the bow. Arrow of piercing light, she yells. The arrow left the bow, hitting the wolf. Its body vanished in a blinding white light. Well, Missy, that bow of yours is quite something. Let me see it if that's all right. Don't worry, I'm not going to keep it. Well, I guess it's okay. Sure. Iryne hands over the Yggdrasil bow to the middle-aged man. Thanks, Missy. Call me Iryne. How about... call me Princess Iryne. How about Iryne? Will that do? Yes. Thanks, Iryne. Now let me see. The dwarf pulls back, aims at an empty field. Rain of arrows, he says as he released the string. Thousands of arrows rain down upon the field. The dwarf turns to the tree. Explosive arrow. The tree was a pile of splinters seconds afterwards. Here's one you probably don't know, Iryne. The dwarf turns to another tree. Flame arrow. As he released the string, an arrow made of pure fire erupts from the bow, hitting the tree. The tree became a blazing inferno. Now, this bow, Iryne, has the ability to make any arrow that you can think of. The elves knew their craft well. A pity what happened. The dwarf hands the bow back to Iryne. Iryne, if you will excuse me. Captain, the dwarf says as he walked over to shake the captain's hand. You and your men can rest a while. It won't be back. My dwarves will help rebuild the town and keep watch. Iryne, if you would follow me, I have much to show you. Captain, stay here if you don't mind. Dwarves? Dwarves protect this town. It won't be back, but just in case, take this. Here, the dwarf gives the golden axe to another. Just like your bow, anyone can use my axe. It will take at least 2 days by foot to get to the gates of my kingdom. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. Here the dwarf turns to Iryne. The name is Gilius Thunderhead, King of the Dwarves, holder of the golden axe, one of the 3 weapons given to the 3 races. At your service. Here Gilius shakes Iryne's hand. Well, Iryne, Are you ready to go? After you, Gilius. What do you think? We were going to walk? Like I said, it would take 2 days at least by foot. We're going to travel the dwarf way. You might want to hold on to me. Keeping his hands at his side, the dwarf Gilius thrusts 2 of his fingers into the sky. The ground heaved under their feet. Iryne found herself on a grassy knoll. The force of the ground thrusting upward had knocked her on her backside. Hearing the cry of surprise from Iryne, Gilius looks over her shoulder. I told you to hang on to me. Well, try to stay on, will you? The dwarf's right foot pointed towards the tallest mountain. The left set perpendicular to the right. He raised the left foot, and when he stomped, the knoll on which Iryne now sat started to move. At first it started slow, but quickly sped up. Iryne thought it was going faster than any animal alive could have. Don't worry, Messi. We'll get there within a day at this speed. The dwarf looked back to see Iryne covered in vines. Laughing, Gilius turns back to look at the mountain. You look ridiculous. This is the best I could do under the circumstances. Well, just hang on then. That's what I have so far. Hope you enjoyed.